And there's a lot of rewriting of history, you know, going on in Ukraine. And there has been really ever since World War II, but especially in the last 30 years, where they take these Nazi war criminals and try to rehabilitate their image. And now they're heroic
like for
freedom
Operation Paper,
fighters.
like
Yeah,
for
they're
Operation
freedom fighters now.
Operation Paperclip, all that stuff. It's just,
Yes.
and also allowing, you know, some Nazis to become the head of like NASA or the head of NATO. It's just absolutely insane.
Yep, but that's what we did. It's crazy, but it's true, and it's verified in the government archives. Even the government admits it now. It just took them a long time to admit it, though. We didn't find out about most of this until the 1990s when those documents were finally declassified. But, and we talked about that last time I was here. We talked about the Nazi War Crimes Disclosure Act, which is a 1998 law passed by Congress here in the United States, forcing the CIA and military intelligence to finally declassify and release documents that they had on file, had been keeping secret for, you know, almost half a century, about our collaboration with Nazi war criminals after World War II, and how the CIA protected these guys from prosecution at Nuremberg. And, you know, there's an interesting thing about Nuremberg. When you really look at the big picture of how many Nazis and how many Nazi war criminals there were who should have been prosecuted, there should have been thousands prosecuted at Nuremberg. But that's not what actually happened. In reality, I think it was only 27.
Yeah.
27 that were prosecuted at Nuremberg, and they were all German, and not a single one of them was Ukrainian. Now you have to ask yourself why, because they had plenty of Nazi war criminals and butchers in Ukraine who committed horrific acts of terror and mass murder, and yet they were spared prosecution. And now we know, thanks to the Nazi War Crimes Disclosure Act, why they were not prosecuted at Nuremberg. It's because we, our CIA, and the MI6 in Great Britain protected them, got them out of those prisoner of war camps, and brought them to places like Canada, the United States, South America, and kind of spread them out all over the world, where they had a lot of support and help from the Catholic Church, from the Vatican. And the Vatican would help them get new passports, new identities, help them travel, give them money to travel, and set them up with a new life somewhere else. So we did that. And that's the reason why, because the Ukrainians were our friends during the Cold War. We looked at those guys as our first line of defense against the Soviets, right? And they were useful to us, not only in doing anti-Soviet propaganda, but also in doing actual guerrilla warfare inside the Soviet Union. Those that were able to stay in the Soviet Union and weren't chased out, captured, or killed by Stalin and later Khrushchev. You know, there was an effort made in the Soviet Union to round these Banderites up and to put them in the gulag so that they couldn't cause any more trouble. And they got a lot of them, but they obviously did not get them all. They did get Stepan Bandera. He was killed by an assassin's cyanide bullet in 1959. KGB assassin got him in Munich. But it's interesting to note that his assassination occurred one day after the CIA had just arranged for him to get a visa to travel to the United States. Let that sink in. So in other words, the KGB knew about it. They knew that the CIA was about to bring Stepan Bandera to the United States, just as they had with his buddy Mykola Lebed. And they'd already brought him to the U.S. So they were looking to bring Bandera over here. And you know, Stepan Bandera had a CIA code name. I think it was CASSOWARY 1 was his cryptonym. So he was
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's right. It's true. And you can find those documents in the CIA archives on their website at archives.gov.
Do you have those documents do you want to share now with us, Laurie? Because you do fantastic threads. Is there any new thread you have would you like to share to us?
You know, I actually don't have those documents or those threads in front of me right now. I'm away from home this weekend
Oh, I see.
traveling,
Fair enough. That's good.
I'm just telling you this from memory because I'm so familiar with the documents now and have spent so much time with those documents that this is all just off the top of my head.